At the time of Devil in a Blue Dress and Murder My Sweet, World War II's anti-fascist agenda called into question America's own hypocrisy in terms of inequality and racism. In an attempt to address this, President Truman signed Executive Order 9808 in 1946, creating the President's Committee of Civil Rights. The purpose of this committee was to investigate how the U.S. could better safeguard the civil rights of people. This committee released a report recommending an anti-lynching law, desegregation of the military, and laws to enforce fair housing, education, healthcare, and employment. President Truman used the report as the basis for a special civil rights message to Congress and for executive orders leading to the desegregation of armed forces and an end to discrimination in the civil service system. From the 30s to 50s, the federal government worked with local governments, banks, and other private institutions to reinforce segregation, while white homeowners used violence to reinforce the color line. Racial tensions over housing and jobs led to various protests by white mobs, including some where police would help attack black residents. The Detroit Police Department's crash program led to the mass arrest of 1,500 black men, and in total, over 3,000 black people were lynched in the U.S. between 1877 and 1950. The 1955 lynching of Emmett Till helped start the civil rights movement and marked the last classical lynching in the U.S.
In order to survive and assimilate in a strongly divided society, minority women often have to suppress parts of themselves, which is reflected in the characters of film noir, including Daphne Monet and Helen Grail, who maintain split identities.
Classic noir was a style of filmmaking in the 1940s and 1950s, which centered around themes like corruption, disillusionment, and paranoia. One such film is Murder My Sweet, made in 1944. There were almost no black filmmakers during the period of classic noir. There were no all-black casts and few black actors. Studios who portrayed pivotal black characters and racial tensions tended to have low budgets, since a lot of people would not watch them, and the movies would not be shown in the South. In the 70s to 90s, there was a new style known as neo-noir, which touched on many of the same themes, but with new takes on paranoia and isolation in regards to race. One such film is The Devil in the Blue Dress, filmed in 1995.
Devil in a Blue Dress, Daphne Monet is a young woman who Easy is hired to seek out. For a majority of the film, not much is known about her because she is constantly on the run. This changes when she develops a close relationship with Easy. He finds out that Daphne has two personalities, Ruby Hanks, her poor and traumatized African-American side, and Daphne Monet, her white upper-class femme fatale side. She has learned how to switch between these personalities to take advantage of situations. When she is desperate and needs money from rich white men, she acts as Daphne, and when she needs to blend in with black crowds, she can act as Ruby. This concept of identity switching in order to obtain something addresses racial tensions at the time, because black people did not have as many socioeconomic opportunities as white people did, and therefore needed to go to much farther lengths to accomplish their goals.
Come on! No. Yeah, why don't you scream, huh? So I can tell the police about your boyfriend, Frank Green.
Frank is my brother!
What?
Our mother is Creole. We have different fathers. Mine is white.
In the novel, Daphne's split personality is more of a psychological illness than in the movie, where it is more of a tool she wields. In the novel, it stems from the abuse she endured from her father. She admits this to Easy, explaining, "I had a different father. He came home and fell in my bed about as many times as he fell in my mother's." By making the split personality less of an illness in the film, there's a greater emphasis on the pressure on mixed-race people in this time, rather than the split personality being an effect of the abuse, as it shows biracial people could never fully belong in either world, and shows just how divided our society was.
In Murder My Sweet, Velma Valento is a retired showgirl who at the start of the film is living under the alias of Helen Grail, the wife of a rich white man. She has two personalities in the film, one representing her true racial background and one of her elegant white woman facade. She hides her Mexican identity and dresses in white to resemble what she views as an innocent figure, but ultimately, her past with Moose Malloy catches up to her, and she can't escape. This emphasizes the racial tensions at the time because Velma needs to cover up her race in order to succeed in society, since she cannot live the life she wants as an openly Hispanic person.
Both Velma and Daphne are trying to escape their past and the racism that comes with it. They abandon their previous identities in hopes for better lives as white women, something they wouldn't need to do if racial tensions didn't exist. Their split identities are a direct response to trauma and are used as an escape from their previous lives. The racial tensions present in LA cause them to abandon their past in hopes for a better, white future.